about chapter 29, talks about the Philistines, which is over in Gaza today. The Palestinians reject David. It says this: Now the Philistines had gathered all their forces at Aphek, and the Israelites were encamped by the spring that is in Jezreel. As the lords of the Philistines were passing on by hundreds and by thousands, and David and his men were passing on in the rear with Achish, the commanders of the Philistines said, "What are these Hebrews doing here?" And Achish said to the commanders of the Philistines, "Is this not David, the servant of Saul, king of Israel, who has been with me now for days and years? And since he deserted to me, I have found no fault in him to this day." But the commanders of the Philistines were angry with him, and the commanders of the Philistines said to him, "Send a man back, that he may return to the place to which you have assigned him. He shall not go down with us to battle, lest in the battle he become an adversary to us. For how could this fellow reconcile himself to his Lord? Would it not be with the heads of the men? Would it not be with the heads of the men here? Is not this David, of whom they sing to one another in dances? Saul has struck down his thousands, and David his 10,000s. And Achish called David and said to him, "As the Lord lives, you have been honest, and to me it seems right that you shall march out and you shall march out and in with me in the campaign. For I have found nothing wrong in you from the day of your coming to me to this day. Nevertheless, the Lord does not approve of you. So go back now and go in peace, that you may not displease the lords of the Philistines." And David said to Achish, "But what have I done? What have you found in your servant from the day I entered your service until now, that I may not go and fight against the enemies of my lord the king?" And Achish answered David and said, I know that you are as blameless in my sight as an angel of God. Nevertheless, the commanders of the Philistines have said, "He shall not go up with us to battle. Now then, rise early in the morning with the servants of the Lord who came with you, and start early in the morning, and depart as soon as you have light." So David set out with his men early in the morning to return to the land of Philistines, but the Philistines went up to Jezreel. So pretty much, the Philistines reject David. In chapter 29, they were afraid that David was going to turn against them, so they told David, "Please just leave, don't come back." They told David that they didn't want no, something of the word, no confrontations. No confrontations. And they told David, they were afraid that he would turn on them, and they just told him, "Please leave, not come back." So, and they have a map here that talks about David recovers plunder from the Amalekites. As David and his men sought refuge in Philistia, the Philistines gathered the forces at Aphek to attack the Israelites. The Philistine commanders, skeptical of David's loyalty in battle against his fellow Israelites, sent him to his home in Ziklag. When David arrived, he discovered that the Amalekites had raided the Negev, or southern Israel, and burned Ziklag to the ground, carrying away many captives and belongings. David and his men pursued them, crossing the Bezor brook and attacking the Amalekites. He recovered all that he had been taken, returned to Ziklag, and sent in portions of the spoils to the leaders of the towns in the region. The locations of Bethel, Ziklag, Rakal, and Athek are unknown. So basically, you have a map here. As David returns to Ziklag from Aphek, David attacks Amalekites' town, giving the spoils from the Amalekites. And this all takes place around Philistia, which is Gaza today, on down to Amalek, which is actually in southern Israel today. So they start in Aphek. David attacks the Amalekites. So basically, David returns to Ziklag from Aphek. So David starts in Aphek, which is in northern Gaza today, and it goes down through Ekron, through Gath, over to Lachish, to Ziklag, and at Ziklag, that's where he attacks the Amalekites, and the Amalekites retreat and go all the way back to Amalek, past the Bezor brook, and the town that was given spoil from the Amalekites are Hebron, which is over in the West Bank today, Eshtemoa, Jader, Ramoth, Aror, Hormuth, and Bar Asham. And here's the map of this. You can see this. Try to do this right. You see that Philistine, Amalek, all right there. You see the arrows up there. So that's what it looked like. Anyway, that's chapter 29. I'll be right out here with 30 here in a few.